Do you know how important your words are? Are you aware of the power your thoughts hold? Many of us use our words without even thinking about them. Although words are a powerful means of communication, but the words we use and the power that lies within them go way beyond that. We don't even know what we are saying half the time or what words we are using. We all pay very little attention to the words we choose. You know, as children, we were taught grammar and how to use words according to grammar. One thing we didn't learn in schools was how our choices of words affect our lives. I was never taught at school that my choice of words would have anything to do with what I would experience in life. Nobody taught me that my thoughts were creative. Nobody taught me that we create our presence in the universe with the choices of our words. You see, many people have the old habit of talking negatively about situations. They always criticize themselves and always blame others for their situations. But what they don't realize is that the words they choose for themselves are getting manifested. The thoughts we keep in our minds are the things we are going to see in our lives. If you think of yourself as a victim, you will feel like a victim. If you think you are not free, you will feel trapped. But to get better in life, you need to make different choices and different habits, and you have to accept that you can change yourself and become the best version of yourself. Change and transition are the two most important factors in nature, and no matter how much we resist, change is inevitable, and of course, we want everybody else to change so that our life can be different. Any change we want to make must come from within ourselves. Change to me means changing from a feeling of separation, a feeling of isolation, a feeling of loneliness, and a feeling of anger, fear, and pain into a state of mindfulness, a wonderful peacefulness where you can relax and enjoy every part of your life as it comes to you with a belief that everything will be all right. You know, I always believe that my life is wonderful and everything is going at a perfect pace in my world, and I will always move towards my greater good. That way it doesn't really matter which direction my life will take me, because I know my life is going to be a wonderful journey and I can enjoy all sorts of things. You know, Gerald Jampolsky says that love is letting go of fear, and there is either fear or there is love. If your life is not filled with love, it is filled with fear. Fear has all kinds of ways to get to you. They are all part of the fear syndrome, and that is exactly what we need to change if we want to move from a fearful state to a loving state in our life and make it a permanent state for us. To do this, we need to let go of our fears and focus on being more present and aware of our thoughts and feelings. Once we recognize our fears, we can consciously choose love over fear. This will help us to create a more peaceful and joyful life. If you ever notice, these plants and these days themselves are not immune to change and transition. We see change and transition all around us. We are moving from older order to newer order, and according to some people, it all began with the Aquarian age, or at least the astrologers think that way. But if you ask me, astrology, numerology, palmistry, and all those methodologies are just different ways to describe life. There are different ways and different languages to describe it, but they all describe the same thing in one way or another. But according to the astrologers, we are moving from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age now. And in the Piscean age, we were reaching outside of ourselves and looking to other people to save ourselves. But we are entering an Aquarian age now, in which we people will begin to go within ourselves. And even if we don't realize it now, this is a wonderful and liberating thing for us. Some people might feel anxious because it feels like a responsibility, but in reality, we are uncovering our abilities to respond to life, not in a victim or helpless way, but in a way that gives us power. We are discovering that we are getting connected to a higher power, or the way I like to say it, our higher self, so that we can contribute to saving ourselves. And you know, it is a wonderful feeling when you don't really have to be dependent on anyone. And to that, you have immense abilities within you to make positive changes in your life. One thing you have to keep in mind is that from the moment you decide to make a change until you get what you want, there will be a transitional period, and that's when we move from the old state to the new state. The transitional period is a time of realizing old habits and old beliefs, and of learning and practicing new beliefs and new methods, or new feelings or new habits. And while you are adapting those qualities within you so that they can be a natural part of life, you are going to have a lot of fluctuation and hesitation between the old state and the new state. You will go back and forth between finding out how you were and how you would like yourself to be. And this is only natural. This is a time you will often get angry with yourself. You will hesitate and question your decision a lot, and will have thoughts like, well, I know all about the new. Why aren't I doing it? I must not be good enough, or I must be a bad person. But that is silly, because any good things will take time and will test you. You will go back and forth until you find yourself feeling strong in those new beliefs and feelings that you have created for yourselves. You may start affirmations and it is going well, and then something happens and you may think, oh, I can't do that, and you go back to your old habit again. Well, that is just a period of vacillating. That doesn't mean you haven't learned anything, and it doesn't mean you are at the beginning again. It is just part of that back and forth thing. It just means that you are not settled in your new habit yet, and that it will take some time and test your patience. And you should be patient with yourself. You should build yourself rather than beat yourself up. There are tremendously different images if you just think about them. Ask yourself once, do your thoughts build you or do they beat you? When you criticize or blame yourself, you are being unkind and unloving towards yourself. Sometimes we don't need to make big changes. Instead, we can look within and make small adjustments to what we already do. I remember somebody once told me that they were thinking about a new apartment, and they worried that there wouldn't be enough money for them to buy. And I said, well, why don't you start affirming there will be lots of money? You know, sometimes these tiny things create ripple effects of changes. Sometimes you almost change 2 words, but it is a small way of changing the way you look at a particular situation. I don't think things on the planet are significantly different than they used to be. However, it seems that we're more aware of them now. I come across various news articles every day, and I get surprised by the things people do. But as I read on, it appears that we have been doing them for a long time, and they are only just being brought to light. It seems that we are exposed to more negativity these days. But if you want to take a step towards cleaning your mental space, and if you decide to work on yourself, and you are going to look within yourself, you have to see what is there. You need to look at your beliefs and your habits so you can understand what you have to change to uplift yourself. You cannot clean negativity if you don't actually see it. It is similar to cleaning your own house. To clean your house properly first, you need to look at where the dirt is. You need to pick things up, look around them, polish them or replace them, but you have to see what's there. And if we are going to make a transitional phase on this plant and really want this plant to heal, we need to see what's happening here. In order to uncover the negativity, we'll have to examine what's happening and uncover things that have been hidden for a long time. You know, I really want us to create a world where it is safe to love each other. A world where we can be loved and accepted exactly as we are. And if you think about it, this is exactly what you wanted when you were little. You wanted to be loved just as you were. Even if you were too skinny or heavy, Or if you weren't smart enough, or you were scared, you just wanted to be loved, and you still want to be loved. It is the same thing we all are looking for. Only we are not going to get this love and acceptance from other people unless we are ready to give it to ourselves. When we feel we are loved and accepted, others will accept us too. It is that simple. I think we're on this planet to learn unconditional love, and it's not always an easy thing to do. First, we need to have unconditional love for ourselves. It doesn't matter what they did to us or how they treated us in the past. We need to let go. And then secondly, we need to give that same unconditional love to others. Just allow them to be what they are and get rid of the idea of us and them. It is not us and them. It is just all us.